Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's episode in the Java Discord bot craft series, I'll be showing you how to set up your identify and your resume payloads, which is like a just JSON, which is JSON, and basically you send it to a Discord API to authenticate and to tell Discord API the information it requires. So to get started, first of all, we're gonna need to create another two final methods in here. So we're gonna do private final, and in here we're going to do JSON node factory, as well. We're gonna here private object mapper. Basically, as the API grow, as our wrapper grows, we're gonna eventually move these to a class called Java Discord bot craft. But to keep everything simple for the meantime, we're just gonna keep them now here, and then we're gonna need another one called private in sequence number. So first of all, we're gonna handle our send identify. So what the send identify does is you're sending three things information: Discord, your token, which is your the password, intents, the permissions you require, and the property is just information about the server, the OS using, and the name of the device. So we're gonna do here is we're gonna create an object node in your payload, and then we're gonna do here JSON, and then we're gonna do put our token, our intents, and we're gonna set our properties. So we don't need before you could do them with the $sign, but you no longer need these, so we can just get rid of this. So that's our, and the OS name we can get from Discord. And then you want to do JSON node factory in here, JSON node factory. Say JSON object and JSON object in here. You're gonna opcode 2, which is the operation code Discord uses for identify, and then you're gonna send the payload. So just one second, JSON node, and then here we're gonna do equal JSON node factory the object node to add and then you're gonna do put, and you're gonna do dot set, which is you're gonna set your data, and then in here we're going to send it a Websocket. So now we're going to do our resume. So in the resume we're going to do similarly, but instead of you don't need the properties, you just need the sequence number and the session ID. Session ID tells Discord what session was running in the past, and the sequence number is informing Discord as well. And then here you're going to do opcode 6, which is operation code for resuming. And now if we run the WebSocket, you'll see we receive information from Discord. But before that, we want to do one more thing. We want to do on a message. So you just do on text message. Yep, in here. So this basically on text message is when you receive the information from Discord. So if we just do south and just print our text, you'll be able to see the JSON. So we're going to do JSON node, and in here we're going to do our payload, which is information we reach from Discord. And then we want to check if our payload has a sequence. If it does, we want to set it. Just make sure it's null, make sure it's not null. And then here we want to have a JSON node, and you want to have your data you receive. And in here we want to have our int opcode, which is a code we receive from Discord, and then want to create a method called on opcode. And in here we're going to have a method called on opcode, and we just can just close this for now. So basically what an opcode is, Discord then sends you an operation code telling you what you need to do. One of these is to handle the heartbeat, which we'll explore in the next week's episode. But we want to now head over to our utilities, and in our utilities we're going to create an enum called opcodes. So when we're using a switch statement, it's easier rather than using the numbers, and if there's any changes in opcodes, we can then handle those later on. So in here we want to do create an enum called opcode, and in our opcode enum we're going to have our resume identify and other opcodes. So in here we're just going to do. So we're going to do first we're going to do the semicolon here. We're going to do private final the valid opcode, and we're going to have another one which is going to be final boolean, and then this is send. Do we send information, or private final, this is receive. So we just create our constructor in here, allow us to get these values. Alright, so now in here we're going to have our dispatch, which is dispatch from Discord, heartbeat, and then we're going to have identify presence update, and then here we're going to have voice state update, resume, which is 6, reconnect, request guild members, invalid session, hello, heartbeat, and unknown, which will get sent with any unknown heartbeat. So we'll just do here. Alright, let me just explain each one. So the dispatch is just an event was dispatched. Heartbeat is fired periodically by the client to keep the connection alive. So basically, just so Discord knows that everything's still running, nothing has shut down. Identify starts a new session during the initial handshake, which is you basically talking to the Websocket. Presence update updates the client's presence, so like online, do not disturb, stuff like that. Voice state if they leave or join a VC. Resume is resumes a previous session that was disconnected. Reconnect, you should attempt to reconnect immediately and resume immediately. Request guild members is requesting information about offline guild members in a large guild. Invalid session is basically when you're trying to connect but the session has been invalidated. You should reconnect or identify and resume accordingly. Hello is sent immediately after connecting. Contains the heartbeat interval, which is what you need to send to Discord every period of time. Heartbeat ACK is basically Discord acknowledging that it's received the heartbeat, so just for you to know that that nothing has gone wrong. And unknown is for future use, so only unknown opcodes. If you're wondering where I get all this information from, you can just read it all over here. This will be linked in the description below. Alright, now if you head over back to your Websocket manager, now that we have set up our opcode enum, we can do opcode.identified.getValue, and then we're going to do the resume as well. And any other opcodes that we have received, and not at the moment. Alright, so now if we head over back to our opcode, we can just get call here. So we're going to see opcode from the value, and let's create that method here. This will make it easier from the value, and then we can just do switch code. A switch it's easier to use because you have loads of methods on this. And then we want to now get started with a heartbeat interval. So the part for the heartbeat we're going to deal with in the next episode, because that's a little bit more complicated, because we're going to create our own class for that, and so it requires its own video. But if we just explore what opcodes we're going to handle, so the opcodes that we're going to handle are the dispatch, reconnect, invalid session, hello, and our heartbeat act. So if we just get started with the heartbeat interval one, so if you do hello in here, hello, and in here we do in here we're going to have the following. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the heartbeat interval. So we just do this instead. So we're going to do int heartbeat interval, and then we just get rid of this. So what the heartbeat interval is, it's like a number sent by the Discord. So if you go back here, Discord confirmation, it's like say for an example, it's like heartbeat. If we just copy it, find an example. Yeah, it's like this number here, 4,500, and it's basically an interval in milliseconds that you should respond to it. And then we're gonna handle that in next week's episode. But one additional thing is we can also just handle the dispatch event. So we just handle dispatch here, and in here, what in the receiving dispatch is our event name. The event name is like, for example, say we get listed all the events possible. So, for example, we get an invalid session, that's an event, or you update or create a channel, so that informs you that you get an event there. So we just do a string event, and in here we're going to do our data. Actually, you want to do one more thing. So in here we're just going to create a JSON node. Let's call this raw data, and just this is just going to be your payload. Yeah, I don't know what I've called it. Just call it the payload, isn't it? So in here we're going to call it payload, and we're just going to do payload.getT, which has the event, and then we're going to have another method which handles this connection. And then we're going to have one more here called case invalid session, and this happens as described. You see if it hasn't connected properly. So we're gonna handle our rate limits and everything here, but just for now we're just gonna do session ID equals null and our resume URL equals null. And we're also going to handle we're gonna create a method for the close code, which basically tells this code that we want to close our we're gonna disconnect with a close code, which tells your wrapper what happened and what went wrong. But we're gonna deal with that in a future episode. So that's pretty much. Actually, if you wanna head over to your public static void main, and in here you wanna just instantiate a new WebSocket manager, and in here we're just going to do connect. We're going to get the default intents, but for the token we're going to use something called jconfig, which I built myself, which allows you to get information from your config.json. So we just do here jconfig.build, and I'd rather use jconfig.env, but if you want to use .env, that's up to you. And in here we're going to do just going to call here string. I'm just going to call here so we're going to do object node token, and you're going to hear token equals token, and just jconfig. Oh, you want to do static. Actually, it's not object node, it's going to be JSON node. And first we want to check if the token is null. If it's not, we want to exit, and then, but if it's not, we can then do here go token.get as text. So if you're wondering how to get your token, you can just head over here to Discord developer portal for your applications. You create a new application, give it a name, say for example. Then you'll be faced with a page like this. If there's no bot here, you want to click bot and just create one, and then you can just reset your token and you'll get your token, and you're able to create a config.json. And then once you run it, you'll receive information from the Discord in your because you've logged in here, and it's got as in here, and it's going to be loads of JSON information about your guild and etc. So that's it for today's episode. Hope you had a great time. Peace out. Assalamu alaikum.